I'm Olivia.
I'm Dan, and we lived in Australia for 10 years, primarily located in Melbourne, in a little suburb called Kensington.
So kicking off the Olive podcast, my first guest, I thought it is the best time to bring on my number one supporter, my husband, my partner in crime,
Hello.
Daniel.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
I'm this wonderful woman's husband. I am her supporter, but I feel like I've probably learnt as much from you as you say that you've learnt from me. So, no, it's nice to be on.
I think many of you could probably relate when you go into any kind of healthcare training, you don't learn about business. And I think one of the most amazing things for me is having Dan, who has an extensive background in business, who's basically taught me everything that I know. And I thought we'd kick it off with some of the most frequently asked questions that we get. Also, what our journey looked like as well, why we went, why we came back. That's a huge question. And yeah, just to have a little chat about what we did and how we got on and what the future holds. So obviously this is Dan, my husband, and you're probably thinking, is he some Aussie that I met in Australia?
I wish.
Is your twang?
Yeah.
The answer is no. Dan and I met at uni, and I was the main sponsored candidate. So I got a job in Australia and I got sponsorship, and we were able to prove our relationship, and Dan tagged along on my visa. And then every single time we were able to get the next visa and then the next visa and then the next visa, we just snapped up the chance, didn't we? We were literally on it. Like the day came, our next visa was in until we became citizens.
Yeah.
And we've been together, we were talking today, 16 years?
16 years. 16 wonderful, happy years.
And 10 of those being in Australia, which is crazy.
Yeah. I do think that having met at university, that whole experience of us going out as a couple, how long had we been going out when we went to Australia? Maybe a year?
Just a couple of years.
A couple of years. Definitely brought us really close together.
Yeah. You have to rely on each other.
You definitely have to rely on each other.
Some people, I think we'll touch on this, but some people have a really great experience. The other person might be having a really crap experience. Yeah. And I think it's the balance of that as well, because, I didn't make friends particularly easily, but you did. And then you got into a job that you really loved, and I really struggled with my job.
Yeah.
You had that life where you could go out on the evenings and at the weekend, and I was working full-time shift work. So there was quite a lot of that, I think. Yeah. But then there were some really beautiful times, like when you tried to encourage me to play netball, and I was absolutely horrific. I was so bad at netball. I was
horrific. You weren't horrific. The saddest thing was you were really trying, and I remember going to watch. Friends. I remember going to watch your first game, being like, okay, I need to support and invest in this activity for you, and you on the drive there, you were Googling the rules of netball, so that didn't fill me with confidence. Secondly, when you got there, you jumped out the car and realised you didn't have your glasses or your contacts in, so that was the next problem, and the amount of pancake catches that you were missing. You'd get thrown the ball, and then the saddest bit was at half time, all of the team went and had their drinks and oranges.
I know, get your violins out.
They had their little snack, and you were just on your own.
I know. Oh, well, basically,
you were trying too hard then, I think.
Netball's not for me, guys.
Netball's not for you.
But look, you go and do things that you've never done before, and I think that's the beauty of Australia. You will try things. Yeah. And that is our son.
I think Nana's got some sweeties for you. Well, firstly, I would say I felt very lucky because I wasn't reliant on the job to be in the country. So that was pretty lucky. So it took me probably maybe a month, not even.
Yeah, so you went out with no job.
I went out with no job, sorry, yeah. I went out with no job, and I said, I'll find something when I'm out there. And I really was just looking for something to help pay the bills initially, and got a gig in an advertising sales role. It was pretty well paid compared to what I was used to. And honestly, that's where I formed a lot of my early friendships in Australia. The 3 or 4 friends that I spent the most time with in that office ended up being our best men at our wedding. So so went out there, just usual process, interviewed for a few jobs, had a recruitment consultant pitch me a job, and then I went, and then it wasn't that long that I was out of work, was it?
About
Maybe a month or so?
Yeah.
And then from there, pretty much had no breaks in my employment for the entire 10 years that we were out there. So I would say it was much easier than I was expecting to get a job while I was out there.
But you also didn't put pressure on yourself.
No.
I think if you can get to the point of being slightly financially free, as in like saving enough money to like not have that massive pressure.
Yeah.
But then saying that, in most states in Australia now, healthcare professionals are quite well paid.
Yeah. Or particularly compared to the NHS.
Compared to the NHS, yeah. So I think that, and not only that, the things that you do in life out there are free. So even if some people don't feel like they're as well paid as the NHS, let's just say, devil's advocate, the things that you do because the weather's better, they don't cost you any money. Like the girls say to me that are out there, I feel about £15,000 a year better off with doing no extra shifts. So I think that the fact that we had my job, we also didn't push our limits.
No.
Like we lived in very normal size apartments.
I remember we rented an apartment that was a real fixer-upper, but because it was in a good location, but
we just painted it,
stunk,
didn't we?
I remember.
Yeah.
It smelled really bad. And we painted the whole thing, but we knew that would be a sensible way to stay on top of our costs.
Yeah. I think number one is don't pack too heavy. You are literally going to Australia. You can buy everything there. Facebook Marketplace is a huge thing out there.
Yeah.
Hard rubbish, where people put like completely usable stuff out on the street.
Yeah.
Like people send over huge containers of stuff, and it's different for everyone. Like families
what did we go out with? 2 suitcases?
2 suitcases.
Each?
1 each. Families might want to bring more of their things out, but
I don't think
you don't need it.
I don't think you could fit our lives in 2 suitcases for a weekend now. That's impressive.
What would you say your tip was?
I would say embrace the chaos of it all, and I remember feeling, particularly when we got there, so out of control and thinking, is this normal? Is this not? But that is all part of the journey and the experience. I don't know if you felt like that, but that was for me, looking back on it, the whole, where are we going to live? Like, what are we going to do for a car? Yeah, that's daunting, but it's also quite fun.
Yeah.
Like those were some of the best, those early years of getting set up were some of the best times.
Yeah.
And I think that's almost in a way, if I was to like rewind, I would look forward to doing that again now. Like, where are we going to live? Like, what suburb are we going to go and live in? And just all of those things, like, do we want beach life? Do we want city life? Do we want to just be out in the suburbs? It's so I would say definitely embrace the chaos. I definitely think the packing thing is 100% right. We don't need to pack that much. I would say be open to new experiences, and there will be times where you will, when you land in Australia and maybe you're not sure who your friends are, there'll be, I don't know, some gathering, a party, a drinks or whatever it might be. There will be a time where you're like, oh, I just want to stay at home. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. For me, I think the rule that we live by was, if you feel like that, you've got to push on and like bump into enough people and enough things to create some momentum.
Yeah.
And the more that you do that, the more you build your network.
Yeah. And also to give yourself time.
Yeah.
You know, that's that same old saying, be kind to yourself, give yourself time. You have days where you're like, why did I not do this 5 years ago? And then you'll have days where you're like, I am so unbelievably homesick, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And it's okay to just sit in that uncomfortable place, because that is what creates growth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what changes you in a most positive way as a person.
Yeah.
And also, coming home is not a failure. I think so many people think like, oh my God, you've come back. Like the word back, you've moved back. But like your mind will be completely different to the person that you were when you went out there.
Yeah.
Living in a different country just opened your mind in ways that I can't even explain.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first question I think we mainly get asked is, why did you come back?
Why did we come back? I think we came back, well, firstly, we had a wonderful time in Australia, and I think at the time that we were there was perfect for that point in our lives. We'd just finished university. We were just kind of wondering what was next in our life, what our next adventure was going to be. And so the 10 years that we were there, I felt like we really had some wonderful experiences together. But we'd obviously had our first son there, and then you were pregnant with. And I think at that point we were just starting to crave more family time. And so it felt good that we'd been able to had those really life-changing experiences and, you know, grown together, you know, pretty, in a very special way. I think it was the time then for us to come back and just plug back into our family units.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad we did it at the right time. I don't know about you, but...
Yeah. No, I think absolutely. I think we'd both done really well in our career. Australia offered us some amazing career opportunities. I moved through my career at quite a quick pace. I don't think I would have moved through my career at that pace had I'd stayed in the NHS. So we just had opportunity there, and I think we just took as much of it as possible. And then I became a mum, you became a dad, and probably that was one of the best years of my life in Australia. Like everyone thinks that that's probably the hardest, but having a baby in Australia, you are supported in a completely different way. And I think we kind of found our community then, you know, and I think that's another thing about Olive. Like I was always really craving that friendship and community, and that's another reason that I wanted to embody community into Olive so heavily, because I felt like those first few years I was quite lonely.
100%.
I think you hit it off. I think being a guy playing sport, you kind of hit it off. You found your bestest friends.
I think it's easier for, I don't know, at least maybe at that time in my life, so what was that, 12, 13 years ago now, it felt like it was pretty easy in that you joined a football team and went down the pub. Broke my ankle, went down the pub, and all of a sudden you had like a collection of mates. And I don't know, it was just harder for you to have people that were at the same point where you were in your life. Like you just had very different experiences. So I agree. I think the best thing that's the biggest thing you've done to change the experiences for people that are going out through Olive now compared to what we have is that community. I know would have been such a comfort blanket. Yeah,
or just knowing that you had like me, another version of me at home that I could message and be like, do you know what, like this hospital isn't a great fit for me and I'm really struggling, or is there any other visa options, or like are there anyone else coming out here? But in 2013 it wasn't really a dumb thing to move to Australia, was it? Like there wasn't heaps of us, whereas I feel like now so many people are going to Australia, which is amazing. But then people do come back, and I think this is why this podcast is going to be so great, because I can interview people that have gone and come back and had a really great experience as well. Yeah,
I think the other thing with social media is, and you and I have talked about this loads, you only see the best version of someone's life through social media. And so I remember the first night we had in Australia, we were like both in tears, we had no idea where we were. Going, if you had to say right now, point where you are, I couldn't tell you where I was. But that wouldn't appear in social media. So people, I think now, that would make that leap, if they didn't have Olive and you and the community support, you'd probably think, oh, I'm doing it wrong, or, you know, am I unique, or am I, you know, on my own? Totally normal feeling. Totally, everyone goes through it. And I wish we'd had someone that we could have picked up and just had like a complete meltdown to, and for them to then say, okay, it's fine, this is a normal part of the process, and these are the people that you talk to, and this is how you get things done. So so I started off my career in sales, and over time, and primarily, like you said, due to Australia, I was able to rise through the ranks and kind of found a niche in software sales and specifically education. I found every step of my journey that if I was to compare my salary or what I would be earning back in the UK, it was definitely better, for sure.
We never thought about money.
And I again, that was always a thing for me when I remember living out in Australia, was when I used to live in the UK and I was just starting like my very first jobs. If ever we went out for dinner, I'd always look at like what the price is on the menu and like what's the second least cheap thing. In Australia, you don't do that. And that's the other thing I was going to say, is even though the money's better, the cost of living is so much lower in Australia as well. So even if it's equitable on the pay, I bet you people feel richer, just because it's like you said, it's so much cheaper to do things. It's pretty comparable eating out comparing to eating in, I would say. Particularly if you eat like the Southeast Asian food, which is obviously pretty prevalent.
And we used to go to the markets to buy our food. So we'd go to we'd buy directly from the farmer, directly from, you know, the greengrocer. We would know our people. You know, the weather's so much better, so the produce is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We would eat very seasonally as well by
Yeah.
doing that. But you have to work hard. Like,
Yeah.
I think you don't go to Australia and earn a whole load of money by doing a part-time role and sitting back on your laurels. Unfortunately, that's not life. And I think it's really important to state that, you know, that's why we have done well, because we worked hard. I worked full-time my whole career until I had my first son, because I had these lifestyle, like this level of lifestyle, and I wanted to go and experience Australia. So, but yeah, I mean, on a whole, 100%. Like, I've never had anyone come to me and be like, I didn't have a good wage, you know?
Yeah, and like you said, I feel like Australia is the land of opportunity for those who are willing to put in the hard yards.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much the Aussie spirit is that kind of have a go attitude.
Yeah.
That really is like in the values of Australian people. And so if you are willing to go out there and put in that little bit extra effort and, you know, get there a little bit early and, oh my gosh, do they reward you?
Yeah,
like
and they
that,
appreciate
I think that's
it.
honestly probably why we were able to move through some rungs of our career, was just because we were willing to push that little bit harder, and I think people recognised it out there.
Ages, because I procrastinated so much about
Yeah.
it, because again, I didn't have that support network. I didn't have somebody that was like holding my hand.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we could have been out there within 4 months.
Yeah.
Like, it really could have been as quick as that. And you know, saying that, when we left, we packed our entire lives up. I was 34 weeks pregnant. We had a 1-year-old son, and we literally packed our lives up and moved back within 6 weeks.
You always forget the dog.
Oh, and a dog, Coxo. So, you know, it doesn't need to be a drawn out process, but I think naturally for us, we needed to, children again, naturally for us, we really, really needed to, I needed time to process it, to be able to actually go. And I feel like that's okay. Like, we moved at our pace and at our time. And I think if we had rushed it anymore, we perhaps wouldn't have gone.
No, but I agree with you. If you'd have had someone that was pushing you and checking in on you, we would have got there so much quicker.
Yeah.
Because the other thing was, our experience was so totally different in that you basically had to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we didn't know.
Didn't even know the hospital I was going to.
Didn't know the hospital, didn't know the location, like no guidance. And I think when you don't know something, you end up pushing it away.
Yeah.
And so in the end, I remember you basically forced us to go.
Yeah. Do you miss Australia?
Do I miss Australia? I miss it every day.
Same.
Miss it
Every single day. Do I regret coming back? 100% not. Like, we are right where we need to be right now.
Yeah.
And we live a really, really amazing life. And I'm not being big-headed. Like, I genuinely love our life. And I think more people need to, like, celebrate their lives. Like, life's short. Are we in the right place? I mean, look at this. Absolutely amazing. But I miss Australia so much. I do worry, though, when we go back, it will be so different, because we were in a...
Why do you miss it?
I miss the weather. The winters here are so horrific. Like, this winter that we've just had has been... It was so bad. I didn't realise how much it affects my mental health. I miss the produce.
Yeah.
I miss the food.
Yeah.
I miss the coffee.
Yeah.
I miss the people, my beautiful friends.
Yeah.
Like, basically our Australian family.
Yeah.
I miss the landscape.
Yeah.
Like, you can be, like, on the beach and then go skiing in the same day. I miss the, like, how clean it is, like the parks, like for the children.
Yeah.
I miss the deep conversation. Like, you tend to have conversation with people that are out there on a different level because they've had these similar experiences. Like, I really miss that conversation, and perhaps that's because I don't work in the city.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I would agree. Maybe a little bit.
But you work in a very multicultural.
Yeah, and I also travel a lot with my job as well.
Yeah.
So I guess I probably don't see that as much.
But that's what I miss. What do you miss?
No, definitely the food for sure. The the landscape, the ability. Yeah, just definitely the childcare stuff, as in like the parks. The childcare was great.
The childcare costs.
The childcare costs were really good.
Childcare cost me a fortune here. It was a fortune.
I really miss that. I built some really, really strong friendships out there, and that was probably the hardest bit of coming back to the UK for me, was knowing that I was going to be so far away from some really close friendships.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was hard. So I definitely miss hanging out with those blokes.
Like the social life as well. Like
Yeah.
there's always something going on, like the festivals, the food
Yeah.
festivals, the music scene,
Yeah.
like all the bars and like the cool places to go. Like even when I was out in Australia in February, like the rooftop bars.
Yeah.
There's so much about it I miss. Like I could go on. It is literally the place of dreams.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think we'll go back?
100%.
Yeah.
I think at a different point in our lives, I think right now we're, like you said, we're doing what we need to do for our family, and so, you know, our kids are having a wonderful time with their grandparents, and I think the relationship they've built with them is great. So we're in the right place right now, but for sure, I will live out the majority of my life in Australia.
Yeah.
Hopefully with you. If you'll have me still.
This is the thing, guys. You get someone a visa and then they bugger off.
No way.
I'm joking.
I've literally been here. I stuck it out. I will definitely, yeah. Don't you feel like that's what we'll do?
100%.
The
coming
problem
for you,
we
Australia.
have is we're trying to figure out when we're going to go back.
Yeah.
So
if there's anyone out there that can support me in that journey, that'd be great. Okay, and the last thing I want to ask you is, for anyone watching, where are your 2 top places that you would go in Australia to visit, to do something, to see something, perhaps maybe a restaurant? Might be different now.
That's true. Well, I would say one thing I would definitely do is, so I'm a big sports fan. The MCG is one of the most impressive like theatres of sport you'll ever see. It's, I think, nearly 100,000 seats. So whether it's you go and watch cricket or going and watch an Aussie rules game, that is, particularly on a big game, that is such an atmosphere. It's absolutely electric. So I personally, I would recommend doing that. Great Ocean Road, everyone's going to say that.
They are.
So I wouldn't say Great Ocean Road. Probably a food thing, I would say Vue de Monde. Vue de Monde
something
is
really special.
really nice. That's tallest building in Melbourne. There's a restaurant on the 42nd level, all glass frontage, Michelin star, unbelievable food, unbelievable wine. There you go. Trip to the MCG followed by a dinner.
I'm there.
Vue de
When?
Monde.
What time?
Yeah, exactly. What about you? What's yours?
I think I would go to Vic Market. Like, I think you get like a real feel, either Vic Market or South Melbourne Market.
Night noodle.
Not even the night noodle thing. Like, I would literally just go on a Saturday to either South Melbourne Market or Vic Market and literally like immerse yourselves. Go have oysters on the oyster bar at South Melbourne Market. They're going to cost you peanuts and taste like delicious.
Yeah.
And then following that, I would probably go to Elwood. Elwood is probably like one of my favourite places. In Melbourne, it's a suburb. It's where my bestest friend lives. Take your shoes off, walk through the little village with no shoes on, get yourself an acai bowl or a takeaway coffee, go sit down on the beach with your book in peace. That shows our personalities. That's what I would do.
Very good. Good. First take, baby. They call me the one take wonder.